All right, let's see. Okay, it's running. All the stuff should be good. We're on there. I'm on there.
Yep.
Videos on there. Layouts on there. You should be okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? My name is Denonu, and I'm here with my co-host.
Jolly, dangerous. What up, y'all?
And with this video here, I apologize for my webcam and green screen being glitchy, but you know, using that new NVIDIA RTX technology. But with this video here, speaking of new technologies, we're gonna watch this new Cyberpunk 2077 Night City Wire episode 3. I guess this is gonna be talking about the gangs and whatever else they want to talk about. I know we haven't seen it, so let's hit this play button and see what's going on. See what we're going to be playing with come November.
I will say I do enjoy that little edit.
To Night City Wire episode 3, the show from us at CD Projekt Red, where we talk about all things Cyberpunk 2077. In today's episode, we're going to start by taking you on a tour of Night City in a new gameplay
Does that thing just say mac and cheeses?
Have a chat with senior level designer Miles. Then we're going to introduce you to the gangs of Night City in another new gameplay video and have a chat with Matayush from our quest team. Then before we finish today's episode, we're going to give you a look at some of the incredible finalists in our PC case modding contest. And
that's a badass case. I would love that.
PC players have been waiting to hear. So let's get started. It's time to take you on a tour of Night City.
Man, November can't come soon enough.
I'm still like, I just don't want to be disappointed.
Yeah, me too.
Hi there. New to Night City? It's not so bad here.
How we feeling today? Cause I feel amazing.
The food.
I love the way they did her hair.
The pierogies down
The
by
first thing I
docks.
thought of, I was like, she should have a cybernetic mechanical afro.
As always, your business is my business.
And this
Okay, so these are people we're gonna have missions from.
Yeah, probably NPCs and whatnot.
You saw that Oculus Rift headset homeboy had on?
What is that?
You saw that Oculus Rift headset that homeboy had on?
DJ got one on too.
Hey, booty.
The first place I'm gonna go, cybernetic strip clubs.
and endless lies.
We are fucked, America.
Hmm?
And I don't know how we're gonna fix
What's
it.
different? Hey,
I know, right?
we don't either.
City has risen by 300%.
Some things don't change, I guess.
Crime
Damn, look at all that
is
garbage.
now double the rate than in the new United States.
The new United
Ooh,
States.
look at that mask he had on.
You want to be some kind of hero? But that's a fight this city won't let you win. On your own, you're fucked.
Well, on that note, that's it for today's info flash. Sleep tight, Night City. The grass ain't greener anywhere else.
Night City. What does it mean to you?
They look like Jada
How
Pinkett
well
Smith.
do you know its history? Who was Richard Knight? How many stations?
Eldris Elba.
Which city
Yeah.
has the best burrito in town? The answers to
Was that really him?
and more can be found
Oh, no, I
in
don't
the
think
at the
so.
bottom of your
Oh.
screen. Check it out and fall in love with Night City all over again.
That's
See,
gonna
that's
be
what
my
I'm waiting
favorite.
for.
Oh,
You know, I'm waiting for those Blade Runner hologram ads.
it's not gonna happen. Like the reason it's not gonna happen is because they become an eyesore, or they'll be like, you know, a distraction. It's amazing to imagine though, because I would love that.
Yeah.
Well, since Night City is one of our stars of this episode, there is actually quite a lot to talk about. So let's start at the beginning. How did Night City come to be? Because yes, it exists in the world of the tabletop, But how do you take that and make what we've got now?
Well, yeah, as you can imagine, making a city that is as big and complex as Night City is quite the ambitious project. First off, we sat down and we were really considering what is it that we wanted to do with Night City. In a way, Night City is the star
Video
of
must have been messed
Cyberpunk,
up.
right? It is one of its main characters.
They need to
We
increase
wanted
their internet
make
bandwidth.
A city that
Hate
is
your meat,
very,
what?
very believable, right? I mean, the word immersion gets thrown around.
It
a lot,
wiggles
but
in your
really,
mouth?
we want
No,
you
no,
to
thank
be
you.
able to dive into it and feel like this is a real place. And then secondly, we also wanted to provide enough variety between districts so that exploring Night City would always be fun, right? There's no point in making a city that is all same-ish, and you know, it doesn't really matter where you go, because once you've been through one district, you feel like you've been through all of them. So for that, we first off started taking a look at the
Vin Diesel.
real-life geography that Night City is located on, and that would be on the coast of California. Knowing that Night City would be a coastal city gave us a bit of insight into what we would expect from the city layout. You'd expect the port, you'd expect huge industrial areas that would facilitate this kind of trade that you would assume a city of this type would have with the world. And then we went through and actually divided the city into several districts, 6 of them, and some of them are based on the original lore. We decided to give their own characteristics in terms
Well,
of
wait, go back to the one ad with the beard with the girl.
demographics, the people that would live there, and also the function within the city. Each of these districts, in turn, we divided into further sub-districts, which we further characterized using the more grand theme of the larger district. This process, I think, has resulted in a city that feels quite alive, has a lot of character, where each district feels like its own distinct zone without feeling separated from the larger picture. And that results in something that allows the player to easily navigate even the complex concrete jungles of Night City simply by looking around and always having a rough idea where you actually are.
But Night City is clearly so different from anything we've ever created with The Witcher. Can you give us some idea about, or some insight into just how big and like how densely packed Night City really is?
Yes, so I'm not exaggerating when I'm saying that Night City is easily the most complex thing that I or the others have worked on. The city is super organic, right? It's not like a chessboard layout, but the layout of the city is crazy, and you can tell that it grew in phases, right? Where buildings have been built on top of each other, and I guess the mega buildings that we have showcased are a great example of this. You'll actually see that they are located on some kind of pillar, you know, and then expand outside and then up high into the sky, and underneath it you'll have space for other buildings. This yields a lot of interesting experiences when it comes to exploration, and that's the one thing I'm most excited about for players to experience. We've been saying that our exploration is super vertical, right? But what this really means is that it changes the way you explore the city. Compared to our previous games, you won't be able to easily set out on a target in the distance, right? You won't be able to say, oh, there's a castle on a hill over there, I'll try to get there, and then you'll be lost on the way. But here it's much more intimate, much more moment to moment. You might be roaming the cities and get a call by your fixer who informs you about a job nearby that you might be able to do, right?
That's just like Grand Theft Auto.
You find an alleyway and you walk down one of the
I'm hoping
many
it's not
alleyways
nowhere
that
near
the
as
city
bland
has
as
to offer, and
GTA.
It's always a surprise. You don't know if you might stumble upon some gangers hanging out that are up to no good. Sometimes, and these are the moments that I often get surprised with, you even stumble upon the odd elevator that is meant to connect parts of the, you know, different layers of the city. And it's quite astonishing sometimes to see where you come out when you enter one of these and, you know, find that, oh, this is actually how it connects to the world. That's crazy. And now I'm here, and now I know there's a shortcut that I can take. And again, this all serves to really enhance this sense of wonder that we all come to love from open world games, and the whole city is built to cater to that.
I mean, you guys have really brought Night City to life, and I really want to make a point of that. It is a living, breathing city. So as a level designer, can you give us some insight into those little touches that you guys have made? Because I hear you guys have even been placing rubbish by hand.
Oh yes, we've been placing quite a bit of rubbish, and that's certainly one of the more glorious parts of being a level designer or an environment artist, where you get to litter the streets that you've spent time building with the garbage. But it's details such as this that we find really important to make the city feel
Wow,
alive.
you read that
Also, we
sign?
take great pride in the
It was like
proximity,
aliens
right?
kidnapped my
We have a lot
wife,
of
help
fun
me and my kids
actually
celebrate.
placing
It's like a
all
homeless
small
sign.
mini stories, right? These are little encounters that you can find when you simply walk along the streets. Of course, we have huge quests, right? Side quests. We have lots of side activities that you can do. But it always is nice to just kind of stop down for a minute and take a look at your surroundings that we have so lovingly created and try to see if there maybe isn't something that you can be a little detective for. Now, one other thing that I think is really, really cool is also the fact that we have actually named every single street in the city. So not only will NPCs be able to communicate their locations or the locations they want you to visit by sort of referring to the street names, but also you will be able to talk to your friends about it in that way, right? Have you been to Poplar Street in Japantown, for example? And I think this is a small detail, but the philosophy that we have with these kind of things is that, you know, many, many small things contribute to the sum of it, which is hopefully then you being able to explore a city that you feel is truly alive and that you haven't been experiencing before.
Well, Miles, thank you so much for giving us your insight. I suppose when the game launches, you could be an official Night City tour guide instead, right?
I might be, yeah. You know, if this game dev thing doesn't work out for me, I might retire and become a tour guide.
Love that forced comedy.
To watch anything again, we will be uploading everything to our channels soon. Now, from the 6th Street to the Valentinos, it's time to introduce you to the gangs of Night City.
What was that game, the GTA game with the black dude in
know
it?
how things work in night.
San Andreas?
That's what I thought. Okay, it is San Andreas, yeah. That whole thing, they just reminded me of San Andreas. That whole thing.
Oh, well,
Except
being, being on a
layers.
coastal city and stuff like that.
Yeah, coastal city. You know, you're gonna have like back alleys that there may be gang members around. I'm like, that's San Andreas, man. It's the exact same shit. And then somebody's gonna keep calling my cell phone. Yo, CJ, where you at, bro?
Yep.
Like, come help me do this job. I'm like, no, nigga, click. Can I turn my phone off? Can I turn my phone on silent or on vibrate? You know, like I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what's gonna happen. But all right, my bad.
Yeah, that's what I think too, because it reminds me of when they were saying it. I was like, okay, that's reminding me of how it does in GTA Online. You know, that's why I said I hope it's not as bland as GTA, because it's like I hate that about that. It's like it's cool like the first time you go through it, but after that, it's just kind of like, oh, here's the same thing over and over and over again.
It goes downhill real fast.
Yeah.
City. The stronger survive, but that's how things stand. You're either somebody or you fizzle out into nothing.
Then C ain't a city that lets you get by without buddies.
Be very careful, my friend. We are all so far from home.
Which gang's the city's biggest and baddest, according to the NCPD?
Scavs hold the body count title. Or Maelstrom, depending on the season.
One time, a Maelstrom ganger killed a young kid right in front of my eyes for shits and giggles.
Chrome-sucking psychos.
And who the fuck are you to say what can and can't be? I'm gonna introduce you to our meat grinder. About time we had some fun!
Think Maelstrom never forgets? Never!
I hate these Borg fuckers.
Just a gang like any other, right?
I'll take the Valentinos. They follow God and the Santa Madre. Honor means something to them.
How'd you meet Jackie?
We started out together.
In the Valentinos?
No, in the fucking Bible book club.
You gotta give style points to the Valentinos. They have a punishment for every occasion.
Just had to bring in that Hispanic stereotype, huh?
Had to.
Quick shout out to everyone in Haywood and Santo Domingo. Lately, the Valentinos and 6th Street have had a bigger bone to pick.
6th Street. Why'd they want to wipe you?
I can't fucking stand Tinos.
I've dealt with 6th Street before. We do the run, they'll transfer the cred.
Come on, let's go before 6th Street shows up. Shot! Any more Second Amendment fans in the house, huh?
Hate those bastards. Vomit lofty patriotic bullshit all day.
Then you got those guys.
Any idea how many attacks from behind the black wall we neutralized? If the Voodoo Boys breach the black wall, we'll all be fucked.
Voodoo Boys. Urban myth, I thought. Just net runners spooking each other. No such gang.
You know, I heard a few things about you. Voodoo Boys, best runners in town.
You do not steal from the Voodoo Boys. I see you, always.
For them, Pacifica's just Haiti 2.0. Their own island, cut off from the rest of the city.
This is our turf, our home. Until last week, the animals crawled in.
Animals are the craziest fucking gang in the city.
Breaker skull!
That's
Animals
dope.
aren't the play here, are they? They're hired muscle. Someone else needed them.
I fucked you over, you fucked the gang over. Somewhere at the start of the story, somebody fucked the corp. See how this works now?
My husband's new Westbrook. Very high in the Tiger Claws. They did what made the best eddies.
I'ma love playing those missions.
That song is hot.
Know what else they do well? Break the knees of people who ask questions.
I gotta do something. Shut the fuck up. The tigers will kill us.
Yep. So if you want to go get a sword, you know where to go.
Ooh. Tiger Claw Foxes. Maybe Voodoo Boys. My 3 favorites so far.
Folk went ballistic. Girls, pimps, outcasts, the whole freak show. It's how the Mox got started.
Think you're some kind of gang group now, huh?
Us Moxes have each other's back. We look out for one another. You looking for some company tonight?
How'd you hook up with the Mox?
I thought Susie and the gang could really change
Hey.
something in this city.
Moxes and nomads don't seem so different. Both seem to yammer a lot about community, solidarity. Tell me about the Badlands. Not much going on out here, huh?
Au contraire. This is an ecosystem. Nomads, wrapped in Shiv, corporations, and drifters, they form a complete whole. Remove one part, the delicate balance topples.
Here in the Aldecaldos, it all stays in the family.
Classic dilemma. What comes first? Family or the outside world?
This family will go to hell and back.
Everyone in this city lives in their own bubble, and either you fly high or sink into quicksand.
Matthew, thank you so much for joining us. I have personally been really excited to give people a closer look at the gangs. We've shown a little bit on Twitter, but their styles are so distinct.
Yes, I enjoy them a lot as well in our game. I think they're very cool.
But let's start then with the kind
Damn.
of role that they
Can you be more excited?
gangs really do play a prominent role.
Yeah, I think they're awesome.
Yes, definitely. The gangs, they rule the streets of Night City. You know, they have the newest cyberware, they have the newest weaponry, and they are really a power that everyone needs to take into account when they are thinking of operating in Night City. You will encounter them as you explore the city, of course, but also as you complete main quests, side quests, different jobs for the fixers. Sometimes you might even get hired by them.
But then, I suppose everybody's thinking then, can you join a gang?
Well, V is a merc, and mercs of Night City are this unique, distinct group that stick mostly to themselves, right? And they get jobs from variety of factions. They can get jobs from corporations, they can get jobs from gangs, they can get jobs from different kind of like influential clients. Because of this, nobody will ever trust a merc to be one of them, right? And the gangs are no exception here. They are looking only for like people that they know will be loyal to them, right? And that they will fight for their cause all of the time, not just some of the times when it's profitable to them. So because of this, V will mostly stick to the afterlife. And the afterlife are this group of mercs, this legendary group of mercenaries in Night City. They get the best jobs, they get the most money, the best clients, and so on. So if you want to become a legend in Night City, you are going to the afterlife.
So we've obviously mentioned distinct style then. So does that mean there are kind of special gang-themed weapons and items and clothing for players to find and use?
Yes, definitely. There are different vehicles that you can drive, for example. There are cars, there are motorbikes. Then, of course, there are different pieces of clothing themed after gangs. There are weapons and so on. So yeah, definitely there are things to look forward to.
I suppose as somebody who's spent as much time as you have kind of getting to know the gangs, I have to ask, which is your favorite and why?
So I would have to say probably Maelstrom, simply because they have this unique, distinct feel. and this weird aesthetic about them. So the idea about Maelstrom is they are people who want to cross the boundary between the machine and human, right? They are changing so much of their body with cyberware that they no longer look human, really. On top of that, they're also very unpredictable. It's very difficult to say what they will do at any point when you meet them. At one moment, they can be shaking hands with you, and at the other moment, you know, they will pull gun out on you, and they bring in this element of chaos into the game, which I really enjoy personally.
Oh, Matty, thank you so much for joining us. It's always interesting to learn what your favorite.
Wouldn't that be with any gang though?
Yep.
Oh, does it? What does it say about me?
Just talking about the first game that you encounter in the game.
But for now, before we wrap up today's episode, we asked people to show us their creativity and design a PC case mod, Cyberpunk style. Our panel of judges selected 5 finalists, and we teamed them up with professional case modders to bring their concept to reality.
Hey, look at that PlayStation 5.
I was about to say, that looks like the little wireless camera
5
thing.
amazing designs will be fighting for the main prize, an Alienware Aurora PC, along with other awesome gaming peripherals. Brought to you by our partners, Alienware, Nvidia.
I love how the only people that's gonna get there are like fucking engineers. You know what I mean? It's like these are people that know how to build and paint. You know what I mean? Like,
love this one.
Yeah, actually building it.
Yeah.
Aesthetic works with each other.
Absolutely next level. Honestly, kind of terrifying.
That Militech, that's the best one. I'm sorry. That kills me.
Somebody put in robotics in it. It's like,
yeah. And it's something that's in the game. It's not like just like this is just a chair.
Exactly
You know,
the
it's
type of
like
thing I would expect to find at a trade show.
It really looks like it could have come straight out of the game.
that's crazy.
yeah, that's cool.
To watch the full PC case modding video and to get more information about when the winning design will be available on charity auction, stay tuned to our social media channels. Looking at those PC case mods, it reminds me that we do have one more thing to reveal. If you're going to be playing Cyberpunk 2077 on PC when it launches this November, we do have some specs to share that I think some of you have been waiting for. The minimum system requirements for Cyberpunk are a Windows 7 or 10 PC, an Intel Core i5 3570K or AMD FX 8310, 8
That
gigs
sucks.
of RAM, and an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 780 or an
We're above
AMD
all that.
Radeon
Wow, a 780?
In the storage department, the game will take up roughly 70 gigs of space, and although it will run off
I can see why they do that because there's a lot of people out there who just refuse to upgrade their graphics cards.
you're in the green, you'll be rocking
But like, why have a graphics card for like 5 years if you're not gonna upgrade it? I don't get that. Never did.
Okay, recommended. i7.
200G, 12 gigs of RAM, and an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1060.
Yeah, see,
or
1060.
AMD Radeon R9 Fury.
I'm borderline okay with that. I would rather the minimum be a 1050.
Don't forget that if you've missed anything or if you just want to watch again, we will be
But
uploading everything to
we are those people that upgrade everything
we'll be back
first.
soon with episode 4.
Well, you get it when it comes out. I get it when it's like at least somewhat affordable. But I'm above like industry standards right now.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
And
some
I'm-
people out there who
I'm
just
games for
like
it too.
yeah, there's some people out there who just don't upgrade anything. It's like they'll follow PC groups bitch and moan about new graphics card prices and then bitch and moan when like their computer can't run a certain game or something like that. And it's like, well, upgrade your shit.
And I would rather the content keep up with the industry. You know what I mean? Like, so if a video, if something came out and it requires RTX, fine, let it require RTX. That just means that I need to save my money so I can upgrade my stuff. Because there's no reason to keep a computer for 10 years thinking that you want to play every single game that comes out.
That's the nature of the beast. But I don't know. There's millions of people who think that way, and I don't know why they think that way. It's the same thing with backwards compatibility. That same
Mhm.
argument, where like some people think that every new system they wanted to play all the old games from all the older ones. It's like, no, that's not how technology works. Like, if you can't buy the new PlayStation and expect it to play everything unless they put in the hardware to support that. And if they choose not to do that, then that's their right to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I like how they just put like everybody, like every race has its own game. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Yeah. As soon as I seen the Hispanic gangs and then this one here, I was like, oh, okay, so they made a gang for like gun nuts and those homegrown terrorist type people.
Mm-hmm.
Then they made a gang for like the Haitians and the black people, and then the Hispanics got their gang. I'm like, okay, did they really have to go with the stereotypes?
I mean, obviously the gun nuts, they're all like, heavy military base, support the troops type people, and it's a mixture of races. But I'm looking at all the other ones, and they're just like black people, Asian people, Hispanic people. Like it feels like a prison yard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. One thing I am that I kind of like, but I'm not seeing it in none of the material. You know how I think you had the transgender, the drink ad and stuff like that, and the whole cyborg gender non-binary choice type thing. I'm not seeing that in regards to the characters in these videos. Like I'm seeing normal male, females. You got people like that are like big buff chicks, but I'm not seeing like somebody with a cyborg wang or like that one kind of character where you can't tell if they're male or female or not.
The androgynous.
Yeah.
I mean, I somewhat expected that to happen. Like, those characters that were talking at the beginning, like all the news type, hosts or whatever. I thought at least one of those was going to have like, booty cut shorts with a package. You know what I mean? Like something that shows it's like, this is how
the world is.
Yeah, the world is. Like you got people who are androgynous, you have transgender type people, you have people with like mix and match parts. Like that's what I kind of thought the thing was going to showcase, but now I'm just kind of thinking that is more like a gimmick than anything else to bring like awareness to the game.
Yeah.
Because like
or even to just bring in those kind of people to play their game. That's like a marketing tactic. They may not even have it. They may have it with your character, which you'll never see. But
that's not the highlight of this game. Like I don't like those advertisements for the drinks and stuff like that. I think that it got so much publicity that it's one of those like shock factors more than anything. And now they no longer need to do that to sell their game, or to bring attention to their game because everybody's looking at it. Whether you are a fan of The Witcher or a fan of the series, or a fan of the tabletop, or a fan of like this kind of genre in general. And then you get everybody else who are like, oh, that's disgusting, that's this, that's that. You have the haters in there too that's interested in your game now because you brought all this, what do you call it? Where it's, not shock value, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like what do you call it, like when like celebrities get into like stupid situations?
I know what shock value is. I think I know what you're talking about. Where you're talking about where they're just doing it to get publicity on their stupid antics to promote whatever it is that they do.
Yeah. Controversy. It's like you bring in like controversy around like these penis parts and stuff like that, and how you can customize your genitalia, and that's going to get people interested whether they like that or not.
Yeah.
So, but that's not an actual, that's not actually what's going on in this world. And if they're making different characters, I would love characters to be made like the what do they call it? Like Minecraft has it, procedural generation. Instead of
where they just randomly make your character.
Oh no, not my character, just different characters in the world, like the random characters.
I see what you mean. Okay,
so that way
everybody's game has different people and different modular things.
Yeah, exactly.
See different things.
Yeah, so that way you got people who do have those kind of parts or who don't look like they're male or female. Like you have a mix and a variety of things as opposed to just here are these just standard generic characters, but in the real world, this is not how this was, really to go. The only unique thing I see about this is all the gangs.
Yeah.
All the gangs make this game more unique than the actual people that's walking around themselves.
Yeah, I think it's something that's going to be referenced because I'm still seeing the transgendered ad, even in this video a few times. But I think it's something that's going to be shown in the ads, maybe referenced here or there. If you ask somebody about, like, oh, I'm here to see this man or whatever, and be like, oh, who's to say he's a man or what? It's they may reference it a few times, but I'm not seeing it in the people or how they show people living in these episodes. I'm just not seeing it at all. It's just I'm mostly seeing people merged with technology and dealing with the culture and the societies that spring up because of that.
Also, why the black dude had to be cutting a chicken? You saw that, right?
Well, Haitian,
Yeah, but why I got to be a chicken though? How come it couldn't be out on lamb or
Probably
something?
he probably rolling some chicken bones or something on there. Reading that little plate.
Gonna fry some chicken up and then he gonna use the bones. So racist.
I mean, it looks like they following all the stereotypes. So I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. I do like how the buff gang has a mix of different people though, because I feel like that's what you see in the gym. There's nothing but buff ass people in the gym. all races, all sizes.
Yeah, that Hispanic gang. I was like, really? Like you just going just fuck it. Let's just rip that Cholo stereotype, huh?
San Andreas, man. San Andreas had the same thing.
You got the Asian gang doing all Asian stuff.
I like that gang.
Yeah. They're probably my top. In my top two. So
I'm really interested in their story.
Yeah, because it's like prostitute strippers. I mean, number one, you don't know what they're gonna do, and obviously you get to go to a strip club or whatever this is. So
yeah, I'm really interested in their story for story and personality.
Exactly. It's like we gotta get underneath the meat of the issue.
Yeah.
Gotta see what they're all deep. About. Gotta do some full on long form questing.
Long form questing. Long form style. All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys want us to talk about anything more specific, whether it be Cyberpunk or anything else, let us know down in the comments below. And we will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.